Hey, Brawl Network coming in, have taken a break because we had a lot of the measurements, the measurables, and you talked about it in the beginning, Bridge. You talked about there's box checking, and scouts get almost too rigid in this where you fit in the box, you got to fit in this little circle. Maybe it's not so much a box, but you got to be there to sit at certain molds. We've seen some of these kids. You had a big lineman here yesterday. He said he played all over on that line. It's different there, but his measurements come in when you got 32 and 3/4 arms or 33, you're just guard. You automatically. And we've seen that sometimes, and so that gets people actually focused on where they need to go, and I think that's good for them.
Sure.
Stop telling you people you could be offensive tackle, because the scouts are going to be like, yeah, right. So those are big deals. And Mitchell Wolf, one of our draft guys here. So do you go by Mitch or Mitchell?
Mitch is good. I'm good with Mitch.
Okay, so your mom makes you say Mitchell, kind of like
it's
Mitchell
just Trubisky. It's exactly like Trubisky.
Okay, that's the deal. He came here in his Toyota Camry.
Okay, wait a second, bro. Pick a different Mitchell. Okay, I mean, like, you can't just throw Mitchell Trubisky. Like, that's
I don't want to go here, but it's him or McConnell. So I'll go with the lesser of two evils.
All right.
There you go.
Okay.
Bye bye, half the audience.
There's not other Mitchells out there. Like, go with Mitchell, South Dakota, or something else. I mean, there's
old people tell me there's some singer called Mitchell Miller from back in
go
like the 40s or something.
That's better
But
than Mitch Trubisky.
Well,
Mitchell
is what it is.
It's all right. He's
cute.
He's gonna get paid.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
So we go ahead. Let's talk about some of these measurables. We talked to a lot of guys sitting here. They sat right here. You could see the length. You could see the height. You could see the strength on them. But seeing them with the tail of the tape is kind of important. But what are some of the guys that really stuck out in measurables from last night and this morning?
I mean, the first guy that we got to talk about, and I've talked to him, we're going to have him on at some point today, is Greg Island, offensive tackle from Mississippi State. He is literally an island. He's 6'7", 6'7", and 6'8". He's 335 pounds. He's got 10 and 7/8 inch hands, 37-inch arms, and 88-inch wingspan. That is crazy.
The best part about the whole thing, Mitchell, is that his nickname is Pee Wee.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I was reading about his bio. Apparently he played baseball in high school. And he was at 6'8", 265. Imagine that kind of guy in the batter's box. Or imagine putting him a catcher. Nobody's getting home there. But, he's probably definitely going to play tackle, but he's played both tackle spots. He's started at guard in college at Mississippi State. But the thing I'm really interested in is that, he's huge, but he's played 3 different coaching staffs at Mississippi State. He was recruited by Dan Mullen, then Joe Moorhead came in, and then they got Mike Leach this last year. And those, there's probably more similarities between Dan Mullen and Joe Moorhead in terms of your spread, but focusing on the run. Then you bring in Mike Leach, who's running this air raid offense that, he still started a ton of games, but maybe not his best fit for him. But Greg Island is obviously the one that stuck out the most to me because of just a massive mountain of a man.
Yep. When you talk about those balls of clay, I mean, I think he's a good left tackle prospect who could go right tackle, and I think he fits the measurables there. Who's the next guy that really I know he stole the show. He's just a monster.
Let's talk about Chase Barron. We had him on yesterday. He measured him really well, especially for a center. Like, he's almost 6'4", 323 pounds, 10 and 3/8 inch hands. That's great. 32 and 3/4 inch arms. Like, that's usually can see there are some tackles playing with arms that long.
Yep. Balag is one of the guys right there. Just shy of 33 inch arms.
Charles Leno from Boise State. He's a bit shorter, a little smaller guy. 78 inch and a half wingspan. So, he came in. I know you guys talked a lot. He's played almost every position. Really versatile, really tough, aggressive guy. So, at center, and somebody who you guys talked about as being a leader on that line, he's going to be somebody that's going to come in and, can, just based on his physical measurables, can play anywhere and be a versatile piece that is on the back end of your roster. But at the back end of your roster, you need guys like that who can be flexible, who can, you got 1 or 2 guys going down, you can plug them in anywhere.
Yeah, you know what? And I like, personally, these dedicated centers that spend a lot of time, maybe you floated around, but let's say you put some solid years at center in college, and then in the pros, a lot of time what happens is that they'll shuffle a guard in there, right, that has limited snapping experience, bypassing the center on your practice squad or on your low end and thinking that's the best move, when if you just put this guy up there that knows how to snap the ball and can take some pressure, it's probably a better move. The Bears and Stan Mustafer versus shuffling that line is a perfect example of a kid like this could have made a big difference. So, I think he's got from the people we talked to yesterday, he's got a future here.
Yep, I agree. 100%.
Yeah. We talked about some big guys. I said the other day, you can't teach girth, but we're going to switch over to some skill positions. We got to talk about TJ Vasher. Wide receiver from Texas Tech, big, long, gangly guy, 6'5", 2'8", 185 pounds. So I'm a little concerned about, being a little gangly and being able to hold up. I mean, if anybody's watching, go look him up on YouTube. He's got this incredible catch from, I think, 3 years ago against Ole Miss at the beginning of the season, Odell Beckham Jr. style catch, 10.25-inch hands, 35-inch arms, and 84-inch wingspan. When they were doing arms and wingspan last night, when he was getting measured, apparently the whole room was like cheering because of how freakishly long this dude is. And, at receiver like that, you want guys like obviously that, not just because of how they can reach up, catch the ball outside their frame, but you also want to have them be able to fight off press. Because when you get arms that long, if a corner tries to get into you, they can quickly swipe up and go over him. That length just gives you so many more tools in your tool chest as wide receiver to do so many different things. And, at Texas Tech, I'm not sure how much run blocking TJ Vasher's doing, especially at that weight, but that's really helpful. You get that extension.
We don't have to break them down, but those are great measurables.
Yep.
And if the NFL continues on the trend it is, you might start seeing these gangly, it's a terrible word for him, but he's just thin, 185 pounds, not a small guy, he's just 6'5", so. But you might start seeing that because it's getting less physical on the outside. So these guys might get more of a shot. Then we're going to have TJ, here today. We'll look at him and see if he can put 20 pounds on.
Sure.
205, 6'5" with those measurables. He's got a future. He's got bloodlines.
Yep.
I mean, there's something new.
Yeah, I say that because I think his college weight, he was listed over 200 pounds. So when you come in with like a weight like that, you're like, oh, that's just a little concerning. But we're going to flip sides of the ball here. I'm going to stay in the state of Texas, though, where we are. We talked with this guy yesterday, Brandon Stevens, defensive back out of Southern Miss, just a shade under 6'1", 219 pounds. He's got 9 and 7/8-inch hands, 33-inch arms, 78-inch wingspan. So good, long, lanky. And the weight is weight's up a little bit. So I'm not sure you guys talked about it, but he has the history as a running back. So I'm wondering if with that weight up and the length he has, I'm wondering if he's like, I'm going to try to, play some safety or play
We talked about that with him.
Yeah, exactly. Play some, maybe like a big nickel kind of role where you can do almost everything. And again, you guys talked
People are going to love those 10-inch hands.
Yeah,
that's
right.
going to bump
Absolutely. I'm just going on my list here. Another guy, Brady Breeze, another safety we talked to, 5'11" and 5'8", 204 pounds. I think the 204 pounds is the key because
he came in at 204.
Yeah,
yes, he did.
He said that. We were talking about that yesterday, right? We talked with him, and he was nervous that he wasn't going to be over 200.
Yeah.
And he comes in at 204. It's great.
He's got a little more sand in the pants than I thought.
Exactly.
Chugging a little water last night, probably.
Yeah. Because, when you're playing strong safety, I think he was listed under 200 in college. You want to make sure you have that weight. He talked about coming downhill and hit people. And more weight you have at that position, the better you're going to do. And his hands were also good. He's got 9 3/4-inch hands, 31-inch arms. A little short, but as a safety, that's not a deal breaker by any means.
Pushing him in that safety bubble now. It really is strong safety.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about your boy, Mike Wickett.
Oh, man.
Man, measured him beautifully, 6'5", 5'8", 283 pounds, 10-inch hands, 33 and a 5/8-inch arms, 80 and 3/4-inch wingspan. So
the wingspan's impressive.
I think he's had, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong here, I think his wingspan was second, right, to Island.
I think so.
I think they were the only two. I mean, maybe not.
We got another guy. So, but it's up there. It's
Capra,
for sure
Jacob Capra had over 82. But I mean, that's when you're talking about, Scooter Harrington had 82.
Anytime you're over 80, that's incredible.
Especially at a D lineman. I mean, I think that is phenomenal for a guy that is. Again, like I said, he's my sleeper type guy.
That's a chest, man. Whenever you see that arm length versus that wingspan, and I thought for sure his arms were going to come in longer than that.
Yeah, I did too.
About 35. And so then I got, it was one thing I was like, oh, wait for it. And I was like, it took me off guard. I was thinking, man, they measure him right?
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, it moves some, more to, tougher on the 5-tech, but a 3-tech would be very interesting for him.
Yep.
In 33 and change, 30, almost 34. That doesn't limit you that much, but and he can play with length, and we've seen that. But it really puts him like he could be a dangerous 3-tech.
As you guys talked about, we don't have a ton of tape on him, but he's one of those guys where they're raw, and like you get some coach that's like, oh man, I'm so excited, I'm excited to work with him because like you can teach him so much, and like for some reason I'm like thinking of Seattle where they can like move him all around, play him at 7, or 7 to 9, get him off the edge, using that length to kind of get around and under guys, put him at 5, have him 2 gap against the run, kick him inside the 3 to 1 tech on pass rush, kind of surprise the offensive
exactly
line.
what Bridge was talking about. I mean, it's verbatim, so it's great.
Yeah, for sure. And then I guess we'll talk a little quarterbacks, We got some, these quarterbacks that are here, sometimes they're usually a little smaller. So our winner from quarterbacks has got to be Zach Smith.
Yeah.
His measurements were right on the dot from college, 6'3" and 3/8, 227 pounds, 9 and 3/8" hands. That's perfect. Arms 32 and a quarter, wingspan 77 7/8. So, good long guy.
I like it when a guy looks it and is it.
Yeah, right. When it fits what you thought. Like we were in there guessing this morning. Every time I get up there, I'm guessing. I was pretty close, most of them.
Sure you were.
Just because I've done it for so long. But I'll tell you one of the guys we talked to him earlier, Camilo Eifler from Illinois, linebacker from Illinois. Mike, you want to talk about arm length? I mean, you could see it when we were in the interview. 34-inch arms.
He can scratch his knee.
Yeah, for a 6 foot, for a 6'1" guy, anytime he's 6'1.5" and he's got 34-inch arms, man, that's that's what you want, because you played some will at Illinois, but now you put him at Sam on the ball, you just do some different things. But I'm a big fan of arm length, only for the fact of, especially O-line, D-line. I do think there's sometimes it's overrated because it's more. Yeah. I'm big. Mark Dominic was the former GM of Tampa Bay. Okay, and he came up with something for me that I like better than anybody else. Is that if a guy's got big hands, that factors into his arm length, right? Because you're going to go from the ball of your shoulder, if you're measuring at home or whatever else, you go from the ball of your shoulder, where you kind of have that divot in there, to the tip of your finger. Well, the problem is if you got a guy with big hands, we might kind of have stubby arms, right? So really what you should measure is they should have a punch length, okay? Yeah. Where they should measure from the base of your hand actually to your armpit.
Makes sense.
Because that's where where you should measure the punch length. So that should become, I would think, if I'm running stuff, that would become my new measurement. Yeah. That's how I would have it. I would have punch length. And so where I think Boykin would be good at that, even though he's got big hands, I think his punch length is going to be great. Sure. And then with that big back, because you already got your wingspan, now you're adding that power into that. So I think that goes a long way toward.
Going back to Eifler, something else you got to think with arm length is, when you're a linebacker, as you know, you're going to sit in that gap and you're kind of going to put your arms out and, you got a big tackle wrap up radius. And so that's another really plus for Eifler. The one guy I
think it sometimes is just, especially when that running back comes over on his route and you're within that 5-yard bubble and you just need to get him off his game just a little bit. We've seen it where in an inch or two could make the difference, especially with a guy like Power like that, just a little more to get that guy bumped off, gets the route off, and, that just a little bit, man. These are why these measurements come important. That's why scouts have done what it's been decades and decades of research to know when you hit these numbers, you can fit these NFL profiles.
Yeah, I got a few more that I just want to hit on. So this guy we haven't talked to yet, and that's because he was part of their small school showcase yesterday. And I really want to talk to him this week because I mentioned him on another broadcast. Javon Grant. He's a safety out of Merrimack. He's 6 foot even, 220 pounds, 10-inch hands, 31.5-inch arms, and a 73 and 78-inch wingspan. So, Merrimack, people don't really know what that is. I think it's in Connecticut. I'm pretty sure it is.
I thought it was a boat. The Merrimack and the Monitor.
That's the Civil War ironclad battle. That's what you're talking about. But I'm just really intrigued because, at that size, safety, and this might be another kind of safety linebacker hybrid, come down to the box for dime packages. Another really smart guy. He's got a finance background. So somebody that on the back end of the roster, I think could be really influential, especially on special teams. One more guy that has a really interesting backstory. His name is Jacob Harris. He's a wide receiver from Central Florida. And he played soccer his whole life up until about high school. I think it was a junior or senior when they were like, hey, you're 6'5" something, come play wide receiver. So he went to Western Kentucky as a walk-on for a year. Didn't really work out, so he came back home, kind of took a year off. Then he went to Central Florida, walked on there. His body started developing, and then they got him on the field in special teams, and he kind of worked his way up the depth chart to be a contributing wide receiver. So I think he had about 500 yards this year. He caught multiple touchdowns. They got a big high-flying offense down there. But so today he weighs in at 6'4", 6'8", 221 pounds, 9.25-inch hands, so a little bit on the small side, but 33 3/4-inch arms and 80-inch wingspan.
Yeah, big.
So, it's just really interesting, a guy with that kind of backstory. You want to talk to him, hear what got him into football, and how he approaches the game maybe differently.
It was funny, and I when I wrote my notes on him, I thought to me he was a poor man's Chase Claypool. But kind of when I watched him, now granted, Chase Claypool has done a really great job for himself with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But that was kind of his body type, kind of that same long, rangy. His speed's probably going to be a little bit of a question. Can he do some H-back stuff? He's a big dude physically, looks the part. Can he be one of those off kind of hybrid tight ends, H-backs, like receivers? But I think that there's a good I think a good offensive coordinator or somebody that will find him, because that's just God-given size, and his hands are excellent, like absolutely excellent hands. High points the ball phenomenally well. He's an interesting guy for me, and I think one of those guys. I'm not saying he's a drafted guy, but I think in the right system, right offense, I think somebody could find a spot to put him.
Me personally, I think guys like him are the future. Sure. Like we talk a lot about 11 and 12 personnel, and that's where the league is kind of really that's where it's focusing right now. And I think that you're going to want to find a guy that is your difference between 11 and 12. But if you can find that hybrid guy that the defense isn't really sure what they are, he's a big wide receiver, and he can block. So with his special teams background, he's probably going to be a decent blocker. So you bring him in there, you motion him in and out from the line of scrimmage. You're like, okay, he's a blocker, he's a receiver. Like, how does defense doesn't know what to do with him? Very perfect.
Really
so you can use him in that hybrid role that really differentiates him from other players.
You talk about it being the future. It's the future if you can block. You have no future at that position.
And he can. So it'll be. I think he's got the upside. He was one of the guys that I highlighted out of that small school group that I thought. I think out of that group, I think I had 2 or 3 guys, and he was my number 1 player that I thought would have a shot to lead.
I think there's like a Kelvin Benjamin stereotype that was kind of holding that back, and now Chase Claypool has kind of reset that in mind.
I think one of the last guys I want to talk about is the guy we had on, Rashad Bird. I know you guys really love talking about him, linebacker from Georgia Southern. 6'0", so 6 3/8.
You see the cheese. I mean, he's taking pictures here. It's Kate Warren. It's just he's just a happy, bright guy. He's got a future.
$1 million smile for sure.
What is his measurable?
He's got 236 pounds, 10-inch hands, 33 and 3.25 inch arms, and a 79-inch wingspan.
That's a really great linebacker.
Perfect
stat,
for linebacker. Absolutely.
Fits the bill.
All right. I keep going. I got guys for days.
Yeah, give us 2 more.
All right. I got Xavier Kelly, defensive tackle from Arkansas. He was originally at Clemson, played a little bit, but of course that's a really good team. They're really deep. So he comes to his kind of final year. He's like, I want to go somewhere where I can play more. And he transfers to Arkansas, where I'm pretty sure he's from originally. So he's 6'4", 5'8", 313 pounds, 10.25 inch hands, 33 and 3/8 inch arms, and an 81 and 7/8 inch wingspan. So this is kind of calling back to what you were saying on Boykin. And this guy at almost 6'5", 313, you're probably thinking, because he's a little taller, you're thinking about, okay, maybe a 3-4 defense as a defensive end playing 5-tech, because he's got that. They're talking about punch length. Your punch length, 3-4, you're going to want 2 gaps. So you want to get that lineman and kind of hold him and then shed him to get to the gap to get the running back. So he's a guy, obviously a very highly recruited background. So he's got a lot of athleticism, but maybe just because of the circumstances, doesn't have the opportunity to produce as much as he normally would.
Sure.
That's a theme we have with a lot of the guys here.
We're seeing some guys lately with that height playing inside bridge. What do they need to do, as far as their technique or sand in the pants? Because you're so used to the 6'1", 6'2" guys being there through the middle. Maybe 6'3" was the biggest height. When they're 6'5", then they're 6'6", but
you got some guys. I mean, you got some guys like Michael Brockers, and you got some guys that are big, 6'5", 6'6", guys that can hold up inside. And with his weight at 313, he's got length. I mean, I think you just have to have, again, part of this comes down to creative defensive coordinators, creative defensive linemen, coaches that are okay. Well, you can play these different things, and it comes down to the guy's athleticism, right? If you could be a hog molly, you could be Ted Washington, and all you do is line up with the nose tackle or the one technique, and you just eat up blocks and let Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher flow, or you get this now on the move kind of guy. And so I don't know him enough to sit and tell you that he is how his movement skills are or whatever else, but that size, I think, is fine. I mean, that actually brings him in the conversation, because if you are a highly recruited guy, but maybe you haven't had the production at a Clemson or you haven't had the production at Arkansas, well, at least let's get him off the bus. And now maybe we're a coach where we talk about Boykin, same kind of situation. All right, well, let's look. I'll take a chance on a big physical raw dude as opposed to a smaller try hard guy is just, because if I can strip this down and get this guy to play, if I can light a fire under his butt, I got a dog.
Yeah,
that's what you're looking for.
I haven't watched a ton of his film yet, but the 2 guys, just on a measurable standpoint, that come to mind when I'm thinking of a guy like Xavier Kelly, I'm thinking of Stephon Tuitt for the Pittsburgh Steelers, big, tall defensive end, and Jaron Reed, defensive tackle for the Seattle Seahawks, another big defensive tackle. He's an incredible athlete.
I really like Reed coming out.
We'll have to compare the athleticism there, but I think that's one. And then, so my last guy, we're just going to kind of go on name alone. We're going to go Scooter Harrington, the tight end from Stanford. So his dad played football at Boston College, my alma mater. So we were really hoping to get him. Fortunately, he goes to the other tight end school, Stanford. So he's 6'4", 6'8", 256 pounds, 10-inch hands, 34 and 3/4 inch arms, and 82.5 inch wingspan. perfect for
Give
a
us
tight
Sean
end.
Bear. We're tight end. We talked to him last night out of
He
Iowa.
had phenomenal measurements.
He was
Matt.
great. Yes.
He was great.
Yes.
I sat next to Mitchell in the weigh-in, and I'm like, yep, check.
Yep. So, I mean, I think you guys mentioned it when he was in broadcasting, 6'5", 250. He's 6'5", even 249.
Yep.
Boom, right there.
Yep.
Okay, then we got 9 and 6/8 inch hands,
Good.
33 inch arms, and a 78 and 2/8 wingspan.
That's good. That's
So,
fine.
right on the
He's
mark.
doing everything he can. These guys, they don't need 35-inch arms because the tight end, especially in him, blocking is going to become important. But you go to punchline, but 33, that's the box check.
That's your Iowa tight
32
end.
short, you're getting rough,
Yep.
but 33 over, that's really good. And he shows it on film too against real competition that will be at the next level.
Both impressive. But for Scooter, those are really good measurables for a tight end.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be that precludes for him to, again, what we talked about. That's worth a look. Right now, you're going back. You say, boom, okay, fits this box. Now let's go back and find that film. And even then, now it's just maybe the playing time, because I know the Pac-12 was kind of a whacked out situation this year. Didn't get a lot of games. Well, now you go back to last year. And then you say, okay, hey, you know what? I'm talking to him in a film. What is your best game in 2019? What was your best game in 2018? And going back and kind of doing that research and digging, because he does fit those boxes. Now you're kind of finding out, okay, he's made a progression from 2018 to 2019. He's here.
Yeah.
Now from 19 to 20, he's here. If he gets a full season, where do we see him? How do we get him on our roster? Boom, then go from there.
Yeah, and I remember when I was looking him up, he's got, Stanford, obviously they've produced tight ends for a long time.
Right.
So I think he was playing with Colby Parkinson, who's a tight end with Stanford. And Colby Parkinson, they flexed him out a lot, played a wide receiver, played in the slot. Scooter Harrington was more of the wide tight end, the one that stays in line and blocks. And so, you'd love to see that. Obviously, Stanford guys, they know how to block. So, with a guy like Scooter, you're going to be like, okay, I think I can use him in multiple ways, but at least I know that I can keep him in as a wide tight end on the back end of my roster.
Yeah, I like these measurements coming in and matching it with the physicality, what they're talking about. And then on the field on Thursday at the College Gridiron Showcase, because here we are in January 20, right, Bridge? And some of these pro days are a bit off in the distance.
Yep.
This gives scouts a head start on these numbers because now they got box check. You just open the eyes of a lot of teams that are saying, oh, this guy fits the boxes. Let's concentrate on him. So maybe they send a scout or send a higher up to that pro day. If the pro day goes on, you think of some guys are going to get robbed and not have a pro day.
Well, and you're right, and this what you're talking about is perfect, because now you might, let's say California, because they're really locked down. California might not. Well, you know what we have? If you're a coach and you're interested in Scooter Harrington, you have verified numbers from your scout that's here that you won't get from any other player at Stanford. Right?
That's exactly
You're
right.
not going to get maybe if you're a Cal or whatever else.
Sense.
So now Scooter Harrington put himself above all the rest of the guys from the Stanford group because he has these verified numbers, and then you can go back and watch the film and do the rest of it. You might not get a 40, you might not get the rest of it, but he's not going to win at that, right? That's not his game. He's the blocker. He's a wide tight end, but he's a massive man, and this guy can block. I think what PF had him in the top 10. PFF had him in the top 10 for blocking and pass blocking in college last year in 2020. So I think those are the kind of guys you want, and that's why I thought it was imperative. If you are a guy that's a fringe guy or a guy that it's not a Senior Bowl invite, I thought it was imperative, and I'm saying this because we're here too. But even if I was a former scout, as a former agent, I would send a guy here because you are getting those measurables. And now, even if you didn't have the foresight and you could have done it with the combine getting canceled, okay, your guy should be here. If you want your guy, because as an agent, you're trying to make money, and that's how you make a living. You got to spend a little money to make some money. If you got to pay a little bit to get the guy on a flight down here or whatever else to get those measurables, you should have done it.
I think the timing works out too, right, Bridge? We're at January 20. A lot of these guys are just coming out of season where they're at their play, their weights that they want to be. Now, I tell you what, January, February, March, I know they're going to be trying to get ready, but some of them, you fall off. There's a lull for a couple of months here coming up, and you can go in and your measurables as far as weight and even times can start falling off. It's a great opportunity to come out here right out of season when everything's piping and going good and get good weights, but also show the skill set out on the field. you know what, compared to an NFL career or the shot at one, it would be a big miss not to take an opportunity to shoot over here. What does it take you? A flight? You know what I'm saying? Your agent will pay for most of that stuff if you got one. It's
guys
no-brainer.
driving in from Calgary, right? I mean, they're willing to do it, right? So
I know, right? I hope his mom gave him a good gas card. Okay, that's a long trip. So we did that. That's kind of the measurable part, and another reason why the College Gridiron Showcase is so important here for a lot of the players. That's if you're going in the first round or if you're going undrafted. It just makes sense, and these are little things and something what is provided here. So from the Brawl Network, Mitchell in the house, or Mitch, if his parents aren't around, and Bridge and Brez, we're going to continue this on throughout the day. We're going to have some big names come up and some big men sit here in the seat. So and we'll bring you the in-depth analysis, and we're gonna dig into these guys a little bit here today.
Are you saying Mitchell's not a big guy?
Yeah, but he's got the computer blocking him, so we were talking about that. But we're going to bring a lot here today, so stay tuned, stay on the feeds, and we'll check back in with our next player.
Back here at the College Gridiron Showcase, brought to you by the Brawl Network, powered by Manscaped. We've got a great special interview. We've got ourselves a quarterback roundtable. I could introduce them, but I'm actually going to go down the list and just have them introduce themselves, give us like a 30-second elevator pitch, tell us like who you are, where you're from, and what you're trying to show NFL teams this week. And we're going to do this a special way because we've got such a crowded group here of fine-looking NFL quarterbacks. We're going to use this football. It's the Duke. So we're testing some hand size, and we're testing how many of these shorter routes you guys can throw. So only talk if the football is in your hands. Here we go. We'll start with Colin.
My name's Colin Hill, quarterback from South Carolina. I'm originally from South Carolina. Played 4 years at Colorado State and then graduated. Super excited to be here. And tomorrow I'm just excited to show what I can do on the field and make all the throws.
My name's Kevin Thompson from Seattle, Washington, aka God's Country, as they call it. Played 3 years at Sacramento State and then just grad transferred to University of Washington for this past season. I'm just excited to be here, show the scouts some of the physical tools I have and just get to show off the arm a little bit.
Zach Thomas, played quarterback at Appalachian State University from Birmingham, Alabama. Just excited to be here, put my name on the map, and just showcase everyone what I have.
As a Michigan fan, we need the Appalachian State guy to get out of here. Just
I'll never let that.
Yeah, nope, not even a little bit.
My name is Brady Davis. I'm from Columbus, Mississippi. I play my football at Illinois State University, and just like they said, happy to be here. Thankful for this opportunity, and just look forward to slinging the ball around tomorrow, and just kind of sharing my knowledge with these scouts.
My name is Noah Johnson. I'm from the Sunshine State. I played 4 years at Alcorn State University. Transferred my last year at the University of South Florida. I'm very blessed to be here, thankful to be here. A lot of great guys here. Just excited to show off what I can do, at the quarterback position, at the receiver position, and just come out here and just have fun.
So let's keep the ball, because let's start there, because generally speaking, I'm going to ask all of you guys, what are the specific things you're trying to show scouts right now? Whether it's that, I truly have that deep ball arm strength, I've truly got, a quicker release than maybe I showed on film, or I've been working on so-and-so. But Noah, SWAC Player of the Year, you were a absolute star at Alcorn State, transferred to South Florida. But you mentioned it, you're trying out wide receiver too. You're trying to just get to the NFL.
Right.
What's that mentality? Is it I'm truly trying to show guys that I'm a quarterback, or is it I'm just trying to show guys I can make a roster?
Well, of course, I want to show guys I can play quarterback. Definitely being undersized at the position, I feel like, the game has changed a little bit, letting guys, like my size go into the league and play the quarterback position. But, getting reviews back from scouts and stuff, they want to see me at receiver. So I've been open to that and, be able to showcase what I can do and hopefully make somebody's roster.
Who's got next?
Yeah, really just, at App State, you try to do everything you can on film, but, you can't really do everything that you want to in your head. So just trying to show people this ability to make plays when plays break down, whether that's with feet or arm strength, and then, accuracy. And sometimes, as a quarterback, you throw a bad ball here and there, but just trying to be consistent with accuracy and arm strength.
For me, just in these meetings, to be able to show my knowledge of the game, whether it's in pass pro or the run game, whatever it is, just show that I can handle a pro-style offense. That's what I've done for a long time, and then on the field tomorrow, just kind of show I can make all the throws, deep balls, be accurate with it too, and kind of just have fun with it.
A lot is the same as what Colin just said, just being able to, make the throws all over the field, the far field outs, the deep ball, just be consistent with that. And then, I was lucky enough to play in a pro-style offense in college, so really just show, kind of show where I'm already at as a knowledge standpoint and being able to run a system like that. I think that gives me an advantage and just kind of get that out there and kind of show what was put on me at Illinois State.
Yeah, just like Colin said, just share my knowledge of the game, kind of talk pro-style ball a little bit, kind of feel like I showed that I could play in a spread offense at Sacramento State. So I just kind of want to show the scouts that my knowledge of the game is there and that I can play at the next level.
So let's keep knowledge was something that you guys, my hands are not big enough for the Duke at all. So the fact that you guys are just effortlessly doing that I'm very jealous. I coach like 8-year-old quarterbacks, so it's not this big. You guys talk knowledge of the game a lot. And so some of you guys are coming from vastly different offenses. Some guys pro style, some guys, a lot more running. Name me the favorite thing that you love to do on a football field. So it might be a concept, might be a special route, might be a certain pass or a certain play, or it might just be stiff arming a guy and putting F in dust.
I love doing the play action pass. We were a big run team, had a good run game, good running back in James Robinson that had a great year with the Jags this year. I love, being able to do that hard play action and take the deep shot, 1 to 2. And then if I need to get loose, nothing's open, I can stiff arm somebody maybe every now and then. But sometimes it doesn't work. But I just love throwing the deep ball and, play action shot.
We're going to get the tape on
you'll find some athleticism. Not a runner by any means.
My favorite concept would be, we call it like across the board stuff. I don't know if y'all did this, but working like a sail to the field and then coming back to like a drive concept with a dig backside. So really it's good versus any coverage. Whether it's man zone, whatever it is, you got to answer for it. And then it's just easy, from the field, working all the way back to the boundary.
To piggyback off of that, what you said, my favorite concept would be like a 2x2 set. And you have like your slot coming on a drag and your backside slot on a dig with the post over the top. So you're kind of eyeing that front side safety off your third step. That's my favorite concept. I also love the RPO game and the read option, of course. So definitely.
Yeah, just like Brady was saying, we were a big run team too. So any kind of play action pass, that's whenever you get the defenses to bite up and you take those shots over their head. I'm a pretty simple guy when it comes to my favorite concept. I'm a curl flat guy. Best route in college football by far. It's always open no matter where you're throwing it to. So I'm just a simple guy and like to get the ball.
Why is it always open?
Defenses, they can't cover that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of the game is probably running the 2-minute offense, fast pace. You get to be in control as a quarterback. You're kind of calling the shots out there. And I find it, to be challenging and really fun to do. And my favorite throws probably to make are kind of some of the challenging throws, like 18-yard comebacks, skinny post, things that show off the arm a little bit. Yeah, that's about it.
One of the media questions that's never fair because you guys cannot answer it is, what team would you like to go play for? And so typically the crappy answers that you guys are taught to give are like, oh, well, I'd love to play for my hometown team, but I'm happy to play anywhere. So rather than asking that, name a receiver, like one receiver. Do you want an Odell Beckham guy? Do you want like a pushing 7-footer? Do you like the small shifty guys? Name an NFL receiver you would just love to throw to.
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams? For why?
Devontae Adams.
Just besides being the best.
No. But seriously, he's gonna get open. Like no matter what. Like I don't think he's so smart. He knows zones very well. He beats man in coverage. I just think that he's so smart in his game. I think that would be somebody I would want to throw to all day.
When the Texans draft you, I'm showing this to DeAndre. Nuke's gonna be like,
I would want to throw to him too. He has like 12-inch hands. So
definitely like a DK Metcalf. Just a big body. Freaky fast. Feel like you can't overthrow him or you throw it in his area, he's going to come down with it. So I would love a receiver like that.
Yeah, I say DK Metcalf too. Hometown team out in Seattle. He's a beast. His ceiling just, I feel like, up here. So super talented, and I think it'd be fun to throw the ball up too.
I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to go with Travis Kelce. Dude's a freak on the field, and even though he's huge, he's still quick, and he always gets open. So, I mean, what's not to love about that guy?
I'll take it back to high school, man. Rekindle my relationship with A.J. Brown. We had a great run at Starkville High. We keep up with him to this day, and if I was able to get on his team and reconnect with him, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit because this is the College Gridiron Showcase, brought to you by presenting sponsor, the Brawl Network, and we are powered by Manscaped, and we've actually got a code BRAWL gets you 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. So a lot of well-coiffed gentlemen, as we discussed before shooting. This is for a different area of coiffing.
Right.
Y'all have good hair game up here. This is a little bit of a different product, but we actually have a potential spokesman on set for us right now. Tell us a little bit about your personal journey with Manscaped, Zach. Oh, you gotta give him the ball. Give him the. This is symbolic too. Now hold the ball and the ball deodorant.
Yes. No, I don't need that. Well, I actually have that actually. So I think it was right before Christmas time. They were doing like a special deal, and you could get the 3.0 and like some underwear, a nice shaving kit. I think you got like some ball deodorant and some other things, and I ordered it, and it's been the best purchase I've had in a long time.
That's awesome.
It's great.
That's good.
This is waterproof. I mean, it's great.
Waterproof.
The other thing they just came out with is this refined cologne. Who wants to try out the refined cologne? Who's got? You got it? You got it? So this can go anywhere in relation to your waist. It doesn't have to go below, but you just try it out. Give it a
So when I spray cologne, I always go wrist. So I'm a wrist guy right here. Then boop, boop, boop.
Yeah. Give us your impression. How does it?
All over.
I like it.
Oh, that smells great.
Yeah,
It smells great.
good.
Can you get endorsement deals for this?
Let's try it out. I'm trying to do this for you, Zach.
Tell them to hit us up.
Yeah,
I like
great.
this. That smells really good.
I heard this described as all-purpose cologne, and I have no idea what that means.
I wouldn't try it low.
Yeah.
I don't think I would try that low.
No, yeah. This is.
I would go. I was like, boom, 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 not too low.
That's why they you don't need the cologne.
That's for low. And even if you don't need the below the waist grooming, which guys do, let's just be honest, they've got a lot of other stuff. Foot dusters, like I said, they've got the cologne, they've got a nose hair trimmer that's top of the line. You mentioned the perfect package, which gets you the travel case. The boxers are. They're not on me now. Not that anyone needs to know that, but they're up in the room for later. It's just a good company. And like I said before, 20% off with code BRAWL. You get free shipping. Best deal out there. So Valentine's Day is coming up. That's all I'm saying. If you guys are looking for something for the ladies, you get this because they're going to enjoy it a lot more over time than those flowers and chocolates you were thinking about. Let's get back to football. Where'd the Duke go? So let's start wrapping it up here. We talked a little bit about things that you're trying to prove, things that you're trying to prove to the NFL. Let's get real, let's get raw, let's get honest. You guys are here, and the College Gridiron Showcase is known as sort of 7 years ago when it started. This was like, oh, and this game exists. We wanted to have all you guys on because this is probably the best crop of quarterbacks and the best crop of players that CGS has ever had. And some of that's due to the Shrine game and the NFLPA game, but also it's just the team at CGS is great. You talk about Mike Rilliman, Jose, those guys are scouting you guys as much as any game out there and bringing in guys that they know are going to showcase some skills. A lot of you guys have fun stories too, like the multiple transfers of things that sort of led you down different paths on your way toward the NFL. But let's get raw, let's get real, let's get honest. What are scouts telling you that you need to do better if you want to make an NFL roster? What are some of the things that you know between now and whether it's April's draft or now and when you make that team, I got to get better on this? Who wants it?
I'll tell you. I think just, going through my progressions better and finding that third option and not trying to do too much with my feet, evade the pocket as quick. I mean, I think athleticism is a thing that I have in my favor, but just not using it every time. Not trying to make too much out of nothing. And like you said, unique stories. I think all of us probably have one, and just thankful that y'all gave me this opportunity. Shout out to Mike and to is it Mark or Mike? Right?
We got multiple mics. We got a couple marks. It's like the Zach's up here where it's kind of confusing.
Well, shout out to Mike and Jose and Mark.
Definitely one thing scouts have been harping on me on about, definitely developing more as a passer, and not leaving the pocket too soon. So that's definitely something that I have to work on. But they definitely, I know that they fall in love with my athleticism and being able to extend plays and being a dual threat guy. But like Brady said, everybody has an incredible story. But what are you going to do with that story? What are you going to take the next steps to keep that story going, keep it written? So.
For me, it would be like my mobility. Can I, prove that I can move in the pocket, escape pressure if I have to. That's been the biggest feedback I've gotten. So when we're training, just trying to focus on that stuff, throwing off platform, working on moving up in the pocket, escaping pressure, that kind of stuff. So just trying to fine tune all that stuff.
Aren't you helping him, man? You guys, the two closest quarterbacks up here are Brady and Colin, and they have the exact opposite answer. Just talk. We need to work on your guys' communication skills. Just help each other.
We're a couple weeks into our training.
All right, fair enough.
I just got to continue to work on identifying defenses, blitz, where the blitz is coming, setting protections, some of the things that they have to do regularly at the next level that, a lot of college guys probably aren't asked to do as much. So continue to watch film and get better in that aspect. And then always just work mechanics a ton in the off season, use the lower body, generate more power, just be more consistent, but more accurate.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both of what everyone has said. Sometimes you feel like your knowledge is good and you're a great player in college, but an NFL playbook is completely different than a college playbook. You got to realize which way the lines slide in, where your blitzes are coming, the coverages, and your knowledge of football can always grow, and you feel like you can't get settled. You just got to keep growing that. And just mechanics, I was always a running quarterback when I was in college, but sometimes doing that too much can get you in trouble and get you sacked whenever you should just stand in the pocket and deliver the throw. So it's just a little bit of both and just trying to better myself for myself and then for the future.
All right. Last one. I want you guys to look in the camera, maybe hold the football and talk to the fans. Because the reason we're doing these is because you guys are going to be on an NFL team. You guys are going to be, whether it's a camp arm or tryout, or you're heading up to one of the other leagues, you guys are going to get some shots. This is, that path to that. So when you guys do that, this is going to be the video that people start seeing I don't know who Brady Davis is. I don't know who Zach Thompson is. Who's this guy? And they're going to find this video. So tell the fans what they're getting when you're on their NFL team's roster.
I think you're getting someone that'll do whatever it takes to win, play my role, whatever that may be, in practice, in the game. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help the team win. So, excited for whatever opportunities may come and looking forward to the future.
Yeah, I would just say you're going to get a competitor. Everywhere I've always been, I've always competed, whether that was in high school or college. So, wherever I end up, that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to compete my butt off. And whether I'm starting or not, I'm always going to act like I'm the starter no matter what. And so just compete every day like it's your last.
We got a guy that loves football, man, loves everything that goes into it. Just being a quarterback, there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of, stuff that nobody sees, behind the scenes stuff. And I enjoy all that. There's nothing else I'd rather do. And I would also say we're just going to get a guy that treats everybody well in the building and around, the franchise and the city and just try to be a good person to everybody, no matter how high I might make it.
I would say definitely get a fan favorite. I love interacting with the fans. Definitely get a hard worker, a winner. That's the biggest. I know a lot of fans, you get this one guy is going to win. We're going to get that in me. Definitely going to get a winner, a guy who will interact with you guys and definitely have fun. Just want a shot, honestly.
I love how the guy who teams have asked to try to wide receiver is always making the longest throw. That's been the most common throw. It's oh, don't worry, guys, I got this.
I think you're getting a guy that loves football. Obviously, all of us do. We wouldn't be here if we didn't love the game.
Right.
Love the game, big competitor. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win, whether that means, you're the guy, you're the backup, whatever it is, I'm willing to do, be a great teammate, and just go out there and compete.
I lied. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do trust, but as you're giving an answer. So I've been really intrigued. I cover the NFL nationally, and this has been like the year of the backup quarterback. Not just that backups have gotten in, but like Alex Smith was not supposed to start, comes back from a horrific injury, and ends up being a great quarterback for Washington. But you also have like John Wolford starting games that meant something out of nowhere. You had, guys starting playoff games. Hill. You had Heinke. You have guys that, did not start this season prepping to be a starter. And I think, who was it that said whether I'm a starter or not, I always act like it. Was that you? Yeah, Zach. So talk about that. Talk about staying ready, because I mean, again, being real, I don't think you're being drafted to be anyone's starter. But if John Wolford can start a game, there's a chance that anyone on this stage is starting a playoff game next season. So what do you do when you're added as a camp arm to make sure that not only are you prepping to stay on that roster, but now it's, if I'm on that roster, I need to be ready to start an NFL game. So give me that, but also slide in there which veteran quarterback you want to back up. Who's your guy? Like, you talked about receivers, but I really want to go play with Brady because he's old and I'm going to have my shot in a couple of years.
I think it's really important that I learned, right when I got to college, was whether you're actually getting the rep or not, to take the mental rep. I'm sure we've all heard that, like, put yourself, as a starter, what are you going to do on this during this walkthrough? Who's the ID? What's your checks? Go through all that stuff. Make sure you're sharp so that, when you do get your opportunity, you're ready to go, like we've talked about. But, my favorite quarterback is Tom Brady. I mean, he's the GOAT in my opinion. I don't think there's an argument. Dude's a winner, done it for a long time, but I would love to learn from him. And, I think he's the best.
And some good avocado ice cream too. Like, that's a perk.
I would definitely love to back up Russell Wilson. Definitely my favorite quarterback. I love how he carries himself. But being a backup quarterback before, you kind of enjoy that process, and it kind of helps you understand what being a great teammate is. So being a backup quarterback wouldn't bother me. Of course, you want to start, but it helps you become a better teammate by supporting and pushing that starter. And the starter always comes back and piggybacks off of what you see and what you see he can't see. So that's definitely a quarterback I would love to back up for sure.
I think when you talk about a backup, especially in the NFL, man, you've got to be prepared, because you get that one shot, and that might be it. Is if you don't produce when you get that one shot, you might be done. If you do produce when you get that one shot, you might get paid a lot of money. So I think that's all. I mean, obviously in college, same way, I was the backup for years, and just being prepared when you do get that opportunity. Those are your brothers, those are your best friends. You don't want to let them down. You want to win ball games, and everybody at that level is really competitive. So just being ready and being on point. And I would say, not necessarily want to live in Wisconsin, but I would love to be with Rodgers every day, just watching what he does. I hope I wouldn't, I think he's different. Nobody can really do it the way he does it, but I feel like I got some of that ability, some of that arm talent. Just really watching him every day would be awesome, and kind of learning from him.
Maybe
my first couple of years. Yeah, maybe get a dome. Yeah, okay. Sounds good.
Something that my OC at Atwood always tell me was always prepare like you're the starter. And that was something that kind of stuck with me my freshman year, because whether that's on the field, the weight room, the film room, the starter knows what he's doing. That's the reason he's starting. So I'd always take notes of what he's doing. And the backup role is you take the mental notes, and when it's your time to shine, it's your time to shine. So that's just something that's always stuck with me, whether that was in high school or college. And I'm going to go with a young star. I'd love to be in Patrick Mahomes' room just to see what he does on the field. It's remarkable, and just see his knowledge of the game is, it's unmatched, and that's just someone I'd like to be around.
Yeah, I think, regardless of what position you're in, whether you're a high draft pick, late draft pick, undrafted guy, camp arm, as they call it, you got to go in with the attitude that you're going to make the squad and that you're a dude and have confidence. And I think, that confidence really can only come from preparation. So you have to always be prepared, regardless of where you're at on the depth chart. And for me, it's got to be Russell Wilson, I'd say. I'm a big Seahawks fan, and I just feel like he carries himself the right way. He's a great leader. I feel like I could, improve my leadership qualities under him. So, I've always looked up to him as a quarterback, and I like his play style as well.
All right, I'll take the Duke back. Let's not break the laptop.
Yep.
Because I can't catch linemen. So Thank you so much for participating in our quarterback roundtable. This is not the cover of a next boy band album. I'm just saying you guys look like you could do it. I'm just if I see you dancing later, I know you're putting something else together in case the football thing doesn't pan out. Who's the tenor in the group? Who's like the high notes? Has anyone got the really high notes?
For sure.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
From the country, I feel like we're low note. You know my habit. He's over here hitting it right now.
So for Colin Hill, Kevin Thompson, Zach Thomas, Brady Davis, and Noah Johnson, Mike Shaddy here with the Brawl Network from the College Gridiron Showcase. Thanks so much.